Happy New Year's, everybody! Welcome to the 2025 LAG Awards. It's our annual award show special where we take a look back on the past year. We reflect on all the major moments and memories that have been made in the world and personally, whether they were the good, the bad, or the ugly. And we also look forward to the year to come. In addition, we like to hand out awards for all the great moments and people that we have experienced here on the podcast over the past year. So, settle in, crack yourself a cold one. The 2025 LAG Awards starts now. All right. 2026. Happy New Year's, everybody. Y'all ready for the new year? You ready to turn it all around? Because that's kind of what the New Year's is, right? You know, it's a feeling of revitalization. Like it's a restart. You get a start fresh, a fresh start from the past crappy year. Because every past year is always just so shitty. And then you come into the new year, you got a great attitude, a great mindset, and you're going to change your ways, you're going to change your behaviors. It's just going to be the best year ever. And then by the end of the year, it was the same crappy year as the previous one. But I will admit, it is nice to have that feeling of rejuvenation, the feeling of a fresh start, where you can start new and I don't know. It's kind of silly in a way because, you know, it's just another day. But it's good to have motivation. It's good to have something that helps get you just pumped up and ready to go. So if that's what New Year's can do for people, then great. I'm all for it. We are on an award show. I might as well look the part a little bit. Let's get a little dapper up in this sumbitch, huh? The only time of year I wear a suit on the podcast. Might as well go full deal. How was everybody's Christmas? Did y'all have a great Christmas? Mine was good. In fact, it was great. It was a little chaotic, but in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Normally on Christmas Eve, me and the family like to go out and look at Christmas lights. This year we had planned on going to the zoo lights, which I had heard were really cool. And I've seen pictures and stuff, and they really do look very cool. So we were planning on doing that, based on other people's schedules and the things that were going on. Really didn't get the chance to. It just didn't work out because I didn't realize that they closed at 9:00. Didn't want to go spend the money only to be there for a short amount of time. So we ditched that. Ended up going and having a nice dinner at Ribbon Chop House with some family. Looked at a couple lights on the way home, but we really didn't do our traditional light viewing night as we usually do on Christmas Eve. So that was a little bit out of the norm. Had breakfast at my house. I have a nice Blackstone skillet that I was really excited, or like a flat top griddle that I was excited to use for breakfast. Could not find a little propane tank anywhere. It takes one of those little green propane tanks. Couldn't find one anywhere. So gave up on that. And I was able to figure out how to do it, but, here I am, busting my ass in the kitchen, trying to make sure I get everything kind of done around the same time so everything's nice and warm. My outside grill was not working it was working, but not well. Like, it was taking forever to cook because I had to cook the sausage and out on the grill, and it just wasn't cooking very fast. So that was kind of irritating. At the same time, I have my brother, my sister, just standing around in the kitchen yapping on, and I'm like trying to move around and get shit taken care of. I'm like, go sit in the living room and have your conversation. I appreciate that you want to be around me for Christmas and be involved here, but you're stressing me out. Regardless, got it all taken care of. Everything was great. I will say, I think I have perfected how to make breakfast potatoes, because the ones I made were bomb diggity. And I'll give you just the few tips that you need, okay? Golden potatoes, red potatoes. Chop them where they're still kind of big, like cut them in like fourths, and then just cubes like that, decent size. Salt, pepper, garlic powder. You're good. Fry them up. Throw them in the oven for like 20 minutes on low heat. Bang. Perfect. Perfect potatoes. Maybe a little paprika if you're feeling froggy. Oh, parsley. Throw a little parsley in there too. It was bitchin'. Did great with, Christmas presents. Gift giving was great. I thought everybody gave pretty nice presents. Got pretty nice presents. I personally got by far the most adult presents I've ever gotten in my life. Normally I'll get like a jersey, like some jerseys, or like a bunch of sporting stuff, or just like fun little knickknacks to hang on the wall, but it's usually like pretty sports related or man cavey stuff. Not this year, man. Let me tell you what I got, and you tell me if this doesn't sound like a dad, like presents a dad would get. By the way, before I mention this, not complaining. These are all very useful things that not only did I want, but I will 100% be using, okay? I got a bunch of polo shirts for golfing. I got a golf club, a nice driver. I got a wallet, 2 different types of massage tools. I got a massage gun and then a roller because, all the aches and pains, we're getting rid of those now. Got some hoodies, socks, things like this. These are and these, like I said, are very useful presents that I 100% will be using. But it's just funny that they were all like dad presents. They're all like older, so I'm showing my age now that these are not only the presents that I'm getting, but the presents that I'm wanting and will enjoy the fuck out of. So that was that. Next day, I got to see a couple of friends. It was very cool. I bounced to my friend Pow's house, went to my friend Eric's house, and then I got to go have dinner with my buddy Brad. So we were doing a little bit of a gift exchange there, passing on presents. Hung out with each of them for probably about an hour and a half. But it was cool. It was cool, not on Christmas. It was the day after Christmas. I had a 5-day vacation, 5-day break. That's the longest break that I've had from work without, really going anywhere. Without being on a trip or having, a football game to go to or a concert to go to. Which was great, yes, we had Christmas and we had, things to do, but it wasn't like an itinerary. It wasn't like I'm spending a bunch of money to go on a vacation on my vacation. I got to actually take some time off, paid time off, and just relax. It was freaking lovely. I got to hang out with friends. I did actually go to a show. I went to a local show, which was fun. Got to watch football, watched my Denver Broncos beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Christmas Day, so it was a Merry Christmas for me. That just capped it off. Oh, and the Nuggets ended up winning too, which was great. It was a great game. All around great Christmas. Great Christmas experience. Awesome way to end the year. And now we go into the new year. Now the new year begins. But before we get into the new year, let's take a look back at some of the major world events that took place over this past year. I wrote a few down. Okay, these are kind of in order as they happened. So this starting from the beginning of last year and coming into more recent occasion. So we had the big California fires. That's kind of how we kicked off the year, was with those terrible Palisades fires and whatnot. That was rough. Multiple major plane crashes, airline crashes this year, which, hey, I flew a lot this year, so lucky me, man. I got out of that scot-free, thank God. Trump's inauguration. Trump was sworn in as the 47th president of the United States. And, there's a lot with him. There's a lot that's gone on with him this past year. Both, depending on where you land on the aisle. I guess if you're on one side of the aisle, you're saying it was good and bad. And if you're on the other side, you said it was bad and even worse. So, we had the tariffs. We had the stock market plummeted and then it peaked. We've had obviously the stuff going on with Ukraine and Israel and Palestine and now Venezuela. There's something going on with Venezuela. Did you see the recent thing with the weird plaques underneath the president's faces in the White House? Dude, that is straight out of South Park. We're living in a comedy, guys. It's insane. And by the way, it's only his first year and his second term. Yeah, I voted for him, but I'm not saying it was the best choice. I'm just saying you're caught between a rock and a hard place at that point. And boy, oh boy, we're living through it right now. We have a new pope. Pope Leo the 16th? Is that what it was? But Pope Leo, an American president from Chicago, Illinois. We did name ourselves a new pope this year. P. Diddy was indicted on racketeering charges and prostitution charges. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were engaged. What major news? I mean, the world stopped spinning, I think, when that happened, when that news broke. And then we also had the major Charlie Kirk assassination. So, not a lot of great stuff this year. But what's funny is I feel like whenever you look at those year in reviews, it's always the most catastrophic. I skipped a bunch of different hurricanes and floods and things like that. It's a lot of just disaster stuff. It's a lot of just negative news. Every now and again, you'll get a couple of nice stories, but it's mostly shrouded by just bad news. Which is why I like to mention in these year in reviews the past sporting events that have taken place, the major sporting events. This past year in sports, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl, which normally I wouldn't be super stoked about, except they killed the Kansas City Chiefs. So I was elated. The Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA Finals. First ever year for them. So, I got to give them props. They were a damn good team. I still hate them. The Florida Panthers repeated as back-to-back NHL Stanley Cup champions. And the LA Dodgers claimed was it back-to-back? It had to have been. Back-to-back World Series. So, congrats to all those four major sports leagues. Who won in the NBA, or the WNBA? Was it the Aces again? Or was it the Lynx? WNBA champ. I might as well throw them in there. It was the Aces, the Las Vegas Aces. I was right. See, I still know some stuff. It was kind of a shit year for UFC, if I'm being honest. There was a couple of good fights, and a couple of big title changes, but for the most part, it really wasn't just a blockbuster year, right? There wasn't all these crazy moments. We had, like, one fight in particular that I would say stands out to me was Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. That was a great fight. Joshua Van later went on to win the bantamweight championship, or no, the flyweight championship. It's the flyweight championship. Just a few weeks ago. Yuri Prohaska versus Khalil Roundtree comes to mind as one of the best fights I've seen this past year. Alex Pereira had a couple of good fights. Kayla Harrison won a championship. So there's been a lot of, like, big things, but it just felt like kind of a down year. Honestly, I would say I think they do 13 pay-per-views in a calendar year. I'd say out of 13 pay-per-views, maybe 5 of them were excellent. And then most of them were just, I know for a fact, there was at least 4 major pay-per-views that just were ass. Like pure ass. And then the rest were probably just like meh. You know what I'm saying? So, not the best year for UFC, but that's sports. Some of the big movies that came out this year. Now, I'll say this. Every year I do this, when I bring up movies, I'm like, there was like 4 or 5 good movies that were even worth a damn, or like just movies haven't been that great lately. I was looking at the list of movies that came out this year. Bro, there's some fucking bangers. This might be, since I've been doing the LAG Awards, this might be one of the best years in movies in a long, long time. So just going down the list. Wicked 2. Now, I'm not saying that's a good movie. I'm just saying a lot of people liked it, and it was like a blockbuster hit. I don't personally like it, but it was a big movie. Thunderbolts. Still haven't seen it, but need to see it. It's on my list. Superman. Minecraft was like the fucking, I think that was the major hit of the year. 28 Years Later, The Naked Gun, K-pop Demon Hunter. See, so I didn't realize that was a movie. I thought that was a show, but apparently it's a movie. But it was like, it took the world by storm. One Battle After Another, that's the Leo DiCaprio movie that came out this year. I've heard it's really good. Frankenstein, I've heard really good things about that. That's Guillermo del Toro. Really want to see that. Weapons, a movie I actually did see that I very much enjoyed. And then probably another one of like the summer's biggest hits that so many people watched was Sinners. A lot of really good movies, I will say. So, you know, out of this list, I've seen one of them, but most of these I would consider watching. Most of the time, I'm like, I don't give a flying fuck, don't care, whatever. But a lot of these ones on this list are pretty damn good. And then I suppose if we're talking like TV shows, you had Stranger Things that just came out. Welcome to Derry came out. The Return of King of the Hill. How could we possibly forget King of the Hill? The greatest thing to ever happen for me was King of the Hill coming back. That might have been one of the highlights of my year. So yeah, I'm sure I'm missing a lot. I didn't really look up a lot of the streaming shows or TV shows, but a lot of stuff like that. And there's probably a few more that I'm just completely blanking on. So it was actually a pretty good year, honestly, for, did Bad Thoughts come out this year? I think Tire Season 2 came out this year. So yeah, a lot of good media content that came out this past year. Music, not so much. I can honestly say, wasn't a great year in music. When Beyonce is winning a Grammy for, as a country artist, yeah, I'd say it's not the best year in music. So, there you go. Music has still not been the highlight, which kind of is a bummer, but is what it is. So, that's kind of the year in review here. Personally, my personal year in review, I went to Nashville. I honestly forgot that was this year. That's how, the years, it seems like they fly by, and then you start thinking about things that happened in like February and March, which are, pretty good ways away. And you're like, damn, that was That was actually that felt like a long time ago. That's how I felt with the Nashville trip. So I went to Nashville. I got to go see Metallica in Denver. Went to the Broncos-Packers game, which was amazing. Trying to think of what other... Did I go to any other major sports events this year? I don't think I did. Didn't go to any basketball games. Didn't go to any hockey games. Any other concerts? I didn't go to a ton of concerts this year. I'm trying to think if I really traveled a lot. Went and saw Zach Wild, Zach Sabbath, play as Zach Sabbath. That was pretty big. Oh, I guess another major event that happened this past year was Black Sabbath's retirement show, and then the death of Ozzy. But we'll get to that later because we'll do a little in memoriam. But yeah, Black Sabbath's final show happened this year. So, not a lot of huge major events for me personally. Had a few good trips and did things like that. Couple weddings, or my buddy Drew got married. My cousin Ross got married. So yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good year. I'll say it. It was decent. So yeah, I guess that's my personal year in review. Let's go ahead. We are at an award show after all. I think it's time we hand out an award, don't you think? So our first award that we're going to be giving out is for Clip of the Year. Now, as most of you have noticed, I have been pretty slacking in this past year, right? So, first of all, didn't have a shit ton of episodes to pull from. My computer's acting all loud. Didn't have a lot of episodes to pull from. Also, I kind of just fell off on doing a lot of the clips. So I don't have a big pool of clips to pull from when it comes to giving this award. However, there is one obvious standout when it comes to the clips of the year. So let's go ahead and show that one right now. I was driving down Grand Avenue the other night. 10th and Grand, something like that. Westbound, there's this big highlighter yellow sign on this wall that just says in big bold letters, vasectomy, with an arrow pointing this way, and it says, no needles, no scalpel. And I'm looking, and the arrow's pointing to this little corner in like a strip mall deal. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, nothing screams professional and sanitary quite like a corner strip mall store. Where do I want to go get my vasectomy at? How about the strip mall? Who's going to do that? What poor soul needs a vasectomy so bad? Rather than go to a doctor's office, let's go next to the State Farm agency and get my nuts snipped. Now, the second thing that came to my mind, no needles, no scalpel. I've never had a vasectomy myself, but those two items are kind of like the only two items needed. I've never had one, but I know how they work. So I'm like, what's the deal here? So you're not going to numb me up with a needle. And you're not going to cut me open with a clean blade. So is it like the numbing agent is you get knocked over the head with a cartoonish size mallet, and then they use a pair of rusty scissors to cut you open? Is that what we're selling here? Come get your vasectomy at the strip mall next to the State Farm. And on top of that, we're taking out all the much needed utensils that are going to make this thing a breeze. Also, by the way, nothing screams, yes, let's go get a vasectomy, than a giant yellow sign with an arrow pointing on it. Or, I'm going to walk into this vasectomy clinic and be greeted by some young Asian women We're just gonna suck it out of you. How do you stop me from nutting if you're not gonna cut me open? If you're not gonna numb me and cut you open? Oh, we numb you. Num 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 num. We just suck it right on out. I was baffled when I saw this sign. And I've never seen this before. It must be brand new. I'm curious to see. Honestly, please, if you are a guy or you know a guy who goes to that location and gets a vasectomy, I need to know the details. The public deserves to know the details. So please, anybody that knows anything about that vasectomy clinic over there on Grand, let me know. And the LAG Award, the 2025 LAG Award for Clip of the Year goes to Vasectomy Sign, which I love that clip because it had to have been, honestly, on all the years I've been doing this podcast, probably one of the most liked and commented clips I've ever made. And so that was, and people would come up to me and be like, "Oh, that was so funny that you mentioned that because I've seen that sign." So, that was a fun one. That was good. I was glad to have done that. So it was the obvious choice. Even if I had a list of clips, that one probably was gonna win. So there you go. Let's look forward now. Let's look forward into 2026. So Cutthroat, my band Cutthroat, we are currently working on a record which will be coming out in the year 2026. That's pretty exciting. We're gonna have a new record coming out. Hopefully, my Denver Broncos will be Super Bowl champs. At the same time, the Colorado Avalanche are very much on pace to make a run at the Stanley Cup. I would say the Denver Nuggets would be in the same place with the NBA, but just today, Nikola Jokic, our star center, the MVP of the league, the reigning, well, the three-time MVP of the NBA, and was going for his fourth, was injured, and he will be out for at least a month. So our odds have completely plummeted. Doesn't mean that we don't have a shot, but we are just absolutely injured. The Nuggets are. But I have high hopes for Denver sports. Hopefully I'll be attending quite a few games. I don't have a ton of trips planned just straight off the dome. I'd love to make a return to Ireland. However, I just recently learned that there is a pretty major uprising happening in Ireland right now over a lot of the refugees that have been let in and a lot of immigrants, immigration policies that have been in place. And so there's an Irish militant rising happening, and very similar to the IRA. So I don't know if Ireland is necessarily the place for me right now, as much as I love Ireland. But yeah, not too many big trips. Like I said, if things chill out in Ireland, it's on the table. But I'm sure other things will come about. You know, I'd love. Obviously, I'm gonna be going to. Oh, I forgot. I went to Arizona too. Yeah, I went and took my nephew to Arizona this past year. That was a great time. That was a great trip. I don't even know how I forgot that. I actually didn't write down a list of personal things that happened for me, so that one just kind of escaped my memory. What else? What else happened, or what else am I looking forward to this next year? I can tell you this: New Year's resolutions, if we're going off of that, is definitely get healthy, and I'm not just talking physically. That's always been part of something I've needed to work on. Something I've always had struggled with is just keeping a good physical health. But this year is really focusing on the mental health, right? I really want to focus on getting myself into a place where I am happy and fulfilled and just like full of energy and joy. Not to say that I'm not, but just more so, a little bit more so than I've maybe felt over the past year. Just trying to get into a better mental state, get into a better mental place. And I think that's very much doable. I don't really have any other real personal things I want to work on. I think that's the best start is just to like get myself in a place physically and mentally where I'm happy with myself again, where I'm just happy with being. And that leads me to another major thing that will be taking place in the year 2026. Major announcement here on the podcast. I want to announce here that after today, I will be taking a indefinite hiatus from the podcast. Now, I know what you're thinking right off the bat. Earlier this year, I pulled a little prank. I did an April Fool's joke where I said that it was my last episode. And I pulled the rug. I revealed, nope, not so fast. It's not my last episode. Gotcha, And so it's easy to think that that's what this is as well. And I'm here to tell you it's not. I promise you that this time around, I wouldn't pull the same joke twice. It wouldn't be so funny. But I'm also not saying that I am done. Okay? I have zero intention on deleting my channels on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, all of those. No intentions on deleting any of them. I still do love doing this. Like, even now, as I'm doing it and I'm in the middle of it, as I was setting up all that, I do feel a joy as I do them. It's getting to that point. It's the struggle of forcing myself to do it. And I don't want that. I want to do it. You know what I mean? And through this whole year, I've struggled so badly with missing episodes, missing weeks, just taking long extended time off. And I thought maybe that would help inspire me to do it more often. And it just didn't. Okay? And it still felt like something that I was needing to do rather than wanting to do. And I don't want that. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for me. This podcast doesn't deserve that. I want to feel driven to do it. I want to be inspired to do it. I want to do this like I once did. I want to be excited about doing it. And it's not always like that. It's more often not like that. And what led me to this decision ultimately was when I sat and thought about it. When I sat and thought, would things feel easier? Would things feel better if I just didn't do the podcast anymore? If I felt like I didn't have to do it. If I knew next week I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about editing. I don't have to think about what I'm going to talk about. I don't have to try and schedule a guest, And the answer was yes. A resounding yes. I was overcome with a feeling of relief. And when I realized that, I knew it was time to take a break. And I say take a break because I fully intend to continue doing podcasting. I very much enjoy it. I mean, I have all this equipment. I've spent the money on it. I don't plan on wasting that by any means. I think it would be good for me to take a break. I can't give you a date. I'm not going to set any particular time frame as to when I might be back. It could be 3 months. It could be 6 months. It could be a year. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have no idea. It's just going to have to, I'll be back when I'm inspired to be back. You know what I mean? And I just think if I take a break, it will like give me a void or a hole. I mean, we'll really know how much I want to do this after a couple months. If I'm itching to get back, if I'm like having that itch, that's when I want, that's what I want. I want the fire. I want to feel like, ooh, I can't wait to talk about this. I can't wait to like get this off my chest. Ooh, I got a hot take, to tell everybody. I got a funny joke that I want to share with everybody. I just want that. And I believe if I give myself a little bit of a rest. I mean, listen, guys. I've been doing this for 5 years. It doesn't necessarily help when you don't see growth in it, and a lot of that's on me. A lot of that comes down to me not promoting well enough, not putting in the extra effort to get my name out there more, or to put it on different platforms, or editing clips. And that's part of it. I'm beat. I don't have any editors here. I don't have anybody to like keep me on track, to help me edit and post and share and promote. It's all me. And when you do it enough and you're doing it long enough, it gets to be monotonous and it gets to be tiring. So I think just for my sake, for the sake of the podcast, and for the sake of you as an audience, the best thing for me right now is just to take a break. Now, I'll say this as well. There is also a possibility. There is a world where Life's a Garden ceases to exist. I have very much contemplated the idea of doing a brand new podcast, doing something a little different, something more my lane, which would be sports. I've considered just strictly doing a sports podcast. When I think about the idea of that, when I run the idea of doing a sports podcast in my head, it fires me up. I get excited. I get that excitement that I wish I had for this still. So, I'm not promising anything on that end. I'm not promising that Life's a Garden is done. There's no guarantees. If there's one guarantee, there are no guarantees. So, I don't know. One thing that is for sure, one thing I will promise you, is I am not done podcasting. I will be back. In what capacity? We got to wait and see. It might be a brand new sports podcast starting fresh, and we might just pick up where we left off right here on Life's a Garden. Either way, that's where we're at. And I just wanted to, I figured this was a perfect way to close it. And just so you guys know, this was not a decision I made like just recently. This wasn't something that I just like thought of. This has been an ongoing thought for the past 6 months. Okay? Like, there's times when I considered doing it earlier, and I thought, no, just push through. This is just a phase. You're just, you're just having a hard time now. It'll get easier. And when it never did, I really, the more and more I thought about it, I was like, this is what I need to do. And I made the official decision probably about 2 months ago that I was going to be taking a break, and but I wanted to finish out the year. I wanted to do the Christmas episode. I wanted to do our awards show. I wanted to close it out properly, right? So I figured this was just the best time to do it. We're going into the new year. It'll give me a little bit of extra of time. It'll give me some mental relief, not having to stress out about getting the podcast out on time, editing, staying up late, doing stuff like that. It'll give me extra time to focus on myself and get my head in the right spot, and just, it'll be very much of a relief for me for a little while. And I, like I said, I enjoy this still. I enjoy it enough that I know I will crave it. I know that I will want to come back. And that's all I need. I just need some time. I need just to know that I have time and space away from this so that I want it again. And if it's doing sports, then that's what it's going to be. If it's doing this, then that's what it'll be. Maybe I'll do both. Doubt it, but maybe. I'll never close the door on the option. Okay? But that's probably my biggest announcement going forward as far as 2026 is concerned. It's uncertain when it comes to the podcast. 2026 is. So we will wait and see. But this is not the end. I am not saying goodbye. I am just saying see you down the road. Okay? So no worries there. I'll be back. Don't you worry about that. I will be back. But that does lead me into our next award, which is, this perfectly leads in, Bit of the Year, which, of course, has to be my April Fool's prank. That was a huge hit. I mean, it was one of the most viewed episodes. I got so many people with that. The clip of it was insane. I personally deserve an award for my acting skills in that episode and in that bit. But yes, Bit of the Year has to be the April Fool's prank. Now, it is kind of a little ironic that is getting the award while simultaneously I'm telling you that I'm taking a break. But I promise you, it's not another prank. I mean, we've already done that bit once before. We're awarding that bit for as good as it was. And now that bit is essentially coming to fruition. So I apologize for tricking you, and now, once again, kind of doing the same thing, but it's not a trick. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and award that one. Let's throw out a couple more awards here. Couple of the smaller awards. Special of the Year. So every year we do our holiday specials. We have our Christmas special, our Halloween special, and our 4th of July special. Those episodes this year were titled "And Justice for All," which I thought was a great title because I was right after I just got back from seeing Metallica. The Prince of Darkness, that was our Halloween special, where I dressed up as Ozzy Osbourne. May he rest in peace. And Where Are You Christmas, which is our most recent episode, just happened last week, our annual Christmas special. The 2025 LAG Award for Special of the Year will go to Prince of Darkness, because we honor you, Ozzy. This award is not for the special nearly as much as it is for you. And our next award will go to Title of the Year. Now, every year when I'm doing episodes, I always like to try and come up with something funny or pun-worthy when it comes to the titles, something a little shocking sometimes. So these are the nominees for Episode Title of the Year. When the Time Comes, spelled C-U-M. Resting Tits Face. Drinko de Mayo. Music City Mischief. Bitches Bitching. And Thankful the Memories. The 2025 LAG Award for Title of the Year will be going to Thankful the Memories. Not only because that was a great episode, and I do like that title, but I think that title's especially fitting for this episode and for this year, because I am so thankful for all the memories. I'm thankful for everything that has happened on this podcast up to this point, whether they were good or bad. That's another thing I'm pretty sure is going to happen is having not done this. If once I spend some time not doing this, I'm going to look back on old episodes and I'm just going to feel like the urge to do it again. Because, dude, there's 5 years worth of content. There's over 270 episodes. So many guests, so many funny times, great clips. You know, we've done funny bits where I've eaten food blindfolded. We've done blind beer tests. You know, I've had some awesome guests who, like, I never thought would ever come on this show. I've had several friends who have been on multiple times. Just, it's been all too much of an experience. And just reminiscing about it right now is making me even regret wanting to have a hiatus. I do know that once I turn these cameras off, once I shut everything down and start editing, I will come back to the realization that it is the right move for me still. But just reminiscing about, thinking about how many times I've sat on these couches and sat in this chair and, you know, spoken my thoughts and my opinions and just tried to make you guys laugh, given all the positive and motivational messages out there. I love it. And I'm so thankful for those memories. So thankful the memories. That is the title of the year because I think it sums up this year very well. And it sums up this podcast very well. We'll save these other awards for the end. But like any good award show, we do want to recognize those who have passed this past year. So, in memoriam, we pay recognition to these people who have left us this year. Most recently, Rob Reiner, Ozzy Osbourne, one of the greatest, the Prince of Darkness. That was the one that hit me the most this year. Ace Frehley, Hulk Hogan, Diane Keaton, Robert Redford, Terrence Stamp, Lonnie Anderson, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Charlie Kirk, Pope Francis, Chuck Mangione, Julian McMahon, Michael Madsen, George Wendt, Val Kilmer, Gene Hackman, David Lynch, and George Foreman. That obviously does not sum up all of those that have passed on this year, and there have been several who have passed on personally in my life. Fortunately, no major ones for me, but still some friends and family who have passed on. So we recognize all of those in my life, in your life, in all of our lives, who we love so dearly that are no longer with us. May you all rest in peace. We raise a heavy glass to you and all your indestructible days. May the heavens call to you, may the stars align and light your way. Let's see. Well, you know what? Let's give out these last couple awards. These are the biggest awards I like to give out. And so we'll wrap it up here pretty quick. The final 2 awards that we're going to give out today are Guest of the Year and Episode of the Year. We're going to start off here with Guest of the Year. We didn't have nearly as many guests as I was hoping or planning on having. I really dropped the ball And this goes back to just, once again, me not being in the right headspace to do this show. If you'll notice, the last guest I had on was probably months ago, and there was a lot of solo episodes this year. I was not booking guests, and if you look back on this past year, you will very much notice how just bad at doing this I was this year. That's why I need a restart. That's why I need just a full reset. Okay. But nonetheless, we did have some guests on who I very much appreciate, and I want to obviously recognize them. So, nominees for Guest of the Year are Pau Williamson, Ryder Pellissier, the Gingers from our we had a St. Patrick's Day episode, and I had a bunch of fellow Gingers on the podcast. Chris Berry, Ashton Jorgensen, Render Me Silent, Spiked Mind, and Jared Ewan. And I'm actually going to give out 2 awards on this. Go ahead and grab this one over here. I'm going to give out 2 awards for Guest of the Year. And both of these are going to go to a couple of guys who not only made a couple of the first appearances ever on this podcast as guests, but obviously have been around all the way to now. And that is Pau Williamson and Jared Ewan. You guys both get an award for Guest of the Year. Always two of the most positive people I know. Always have a good attitude. They always have great things to say. They bring light into this world. And that's what this podcast has always been about, is trying to promote the positive, to be a beacon of light, to be a beacon of laughter, to point out the positivities in life. And those guys exemplify that. And they have both been on this show many a times. So to not only recognize them for their efforts this year, but in the past years, and their support for me in this show, and just being good friends. To that, I say thank you, and congratulations on Guest of the Year. And our final award, which would be Episode of the Year. Now, normally I would make the Guest of the Year episode, or the Guest of the Year award, the last award. But this year we're doing Episode of the Year. So, let's go through the nominees. Episode 239, Love Is All You Need. Episode 245, My Last Episode. Episode 250, Drinko de Mayo. Episode 255, Happy Father's Gay. Episode 256, Can't We All Just Get Along? Episode 258, Let the Good Times Roll. And episode 270, Thankful the Memories. And the 2025 LAG Award for Episode of the Year goes to My Last Episode. Because not only was it a pretty good episode, and so many viewers popped in, so many comments, so many people, thanking me for the podcast, so many people begging me to not do it, or showing their support and emotion in that. I appreciate all those kind words. I appreciate all the recognition and just the outpouring. I appreciate the outpouring of support and the love that was felt when people thought that it was my last episode. And here we are on my last episode for a while. We're here in this full circle moment. I'm actually taking time away. I'm actually going to be taking a step back for a while. And so with that, I figured the episode titled My Last Episode should win the award this year for episode of the year. And yeah. But like I said, this is not my last episode. I will be back. I will return. I'm not saying goodbye. I'm just saying see you later. And as usual, here on our LAG Awards episode, our end of the year wrap up, I always like to end the episode looking back on all the positive and motivational messages from our guests and a couple from myself over this past year, because it's just the best way to close out these episodes. And I think it's going to be a great way to close out this one in particular. And before we get into that, I will give you one last positive motivational message for now. A final one till the next one, okay? Do what's best for you. Do what your heart tells you to do. Follow your heart. Trust your instincts. Like I said for myself in this experience, when I asked myself what was best for me, what was best for to move forward, the answer became very clear. And whether or not I like the decision, whether or not I think it's a dumb decision, I know that it's what's best for me. For what my life is right now, this is best for me. So I tell you, do what's best for you. Trust yourself. Believe in yourself. Your instincts will guide you so far. They will take you to the places that you need to be. You just have to trust in yourself and believe that the decisions you're making are the right ones, and that ultimately they will take you in the right direction. And that's my positive motivational message for today. And we'll listen to all these other positive motivational messages from this past year. But I want you all to know I love you. I appreciate you. I've had a great time up to this point. And until the next one, life's a garden. Dig it.
Go towards that unknown way, you know. It's going to be good. It's going to be bad. You're going to experience probably both of them. But here's the thing. No matter what happens on that little journey of yours, you just got to keep pushing, man. And if you keep pushing, you're going to find some sort of happiness at the end. It doesn't matter what's going on out there. Life's going to fucking suck. It's going to keep hitting you like the cars that are passing by you. But by the end, you are going to find some sort of happiness. You got to keep pushing. And you just got to make life what it is, man. You got to keep smiling through it, you know?
Sometimes you have to go through hard things to not make life better, but there's just certain things you have to go through in life, and they're not necessarily bad, I guess. They may seem bad, but they end up helping you in the long run. They turn you in the right direction or steer you away from certain things. When you think it's bad, doesn't mean it is bad, I guess. Sometimes deaths or relationships ending, things like that seem like the end of the world, but really it's just a new beginning.
Just ride the waves. Life comes in waves. Ride it out. Things get better. It goes up and down always. That's life. And whether it's work or personal life or whatever setting you're in, everything's going to come in waves. So you're going to have highs and lows. Just ride them out.
To not sweat the things that haven't happened yet, you know?
Yes.
You don't need to sit there and worry about shit that doesn't exist because it doesn't exist. Like there's no point in losing sleep over something that hasn't happened.
Life's a bitch, so you can't be one. Life's hard, and you kind of just got to be just as hard sometimes. I don't really take a whole lot of things serious, and I just kind of roll with the punches. I do pray a lot, so I don't even think I'm driving, so I kind of kind of works out the way. But
I think don't be afraid to start something. You don't have to wait for the perfect opportune time. Just do it and have fun, and don't worry about the outcomes and the the plans or anything like that. Just make sure that at the end of the day you're satisfied with what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Everything is figure outable. That's the mantra in IT, because when something needs to get done, you find a way to do it. I don't really subscribe to the whole everything's gonna work out thing. I think you can find a way to make it work out if that's what you want to happen.
manifest destiny.
It's a pretty scary and uncertain world out there, so just be nice to each other. Nobody likes a fucking bully. Love each other. Be good
Everybody
to each other.
love everybody.
Yeah.
I think people need to break away from their phones and their stuff like that more. This world is getting very confusing and out of touch with itself, I think. It's so crazy how disconnected from life younger people and kids and just people in general seem to be. I don't know, and I think that cell phones are a huge part of that. It's about trying to get people to live in the moment again. Enjoy life as it is and not through a screen. Go out and experience stuff yourself.
What we try to do is we always try to represent the ideas of doing something. We want you to move around and have fun. Saying something, we always want to have like some sort of message, whether we're making a connection or a political statement. We're always saying something. And then being something. We never want to try to be anything more than who we are. So we don't want to be ingenuine. We just want to be ourselves, and we're goofy, we're weird.
And also, don't afraid to be yourself either.
Don't afraid to be.
Is that what I said? Is that what I said? Don't afraid to be yourself, man.
Yeah, don't be afraid to be yourself.
I should have gone to work, but then I got high.
Drink water. Your body needs it. You're drinking too much booze. You're drinking too much pop. Drink some water. Not everybody can get out there and run a mile a day. Not everybody can get out there and just meditate for an hour a day. Drink some water. Your body will thank you. It'll help your brain. It'll help your soul.
Enjoy your children when they're little, and they might run around and get into stuff and require your adult supervision at all times, but then they start saying stuff like this and have their own personalities and minds about them. Just appreciate them when they're small and they can't run away from you. Enjoy your time with them when they're at that age, because it will go by in a flash.
If you love something, man, you might not even have any friends that like it, but don't conform to just what the social norms are. Just do what you enjoy and enjoy doing it. That's what creates character, right? Everybody's different for a reason. Just dive into that.
Recognize when you are in the good times before the good times are gone. Recognize all the moments and all the people that you're currently surrounding yourself with and having experiences with. And once you realize that one day this will all no longer be, you'll have a higher appreciation for it. Live life moment to moment. Not day to day, not month to month, moment by moment. Because there can be several moments within a single day. But when you're in the moment, enjoy it, take it in, be present. And yes, there will be bad moments as well through our lives. There might be times where you go long stretches without having any moments, good or bad, and you feel like life isn't really happening. There's not a lot going on in life. So sometimes you have to create your moments. But either way, life isn't measured in time, it's measured in moments. You experience life through moments. And whether they're good or bad, you weather through, you experience them, and life is about experiences. So live your life moment to moment. Never give up hope. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you pick yourself back up. As bad as things may seem, as dark as the world may seem around you, just remember, it is only darkest before the dawn. Eventually that light will shine its way through and guide you to the promised land. So long as you hold on to hope and believe that good will come, All good things are possible. Enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy the people that you love in your life. Enjoy the good times that you have, the memories that you are currently making. Take stock. Recognize those things and cherish them while you have them. Because as we know, all good things eventually do come to an end. And don't forget, life's a garden. Life's a garden. Life's a garden. Dig it.